Hello and welcome everyone to a new video. In video APQ12, we saw how we can use Power Query in order to perform approximate and exact match. Also in the same video, we had an example about how we can search inside a changing price list in order to get the exact price, and also how we can fetch the correct discount in the volume discount matrix. At the end of the video, we had the output and we said that we need to review this output using the normal Excel sheet functions, and this is exactly what we are going to do today. If you didn't watch APQ12, you'll find the link on top of the screen right now. You can just start to watch it and then come back here, or you can just watch this video if you are not interested to see how we can do the same using Power Query. In this video, we are going to see how we can use filter as a lookup function. I know that is not very common, however, it is a very good and practical solution. And also we are going to use the CHOOSEROWS function together with the filter. Also, we are going to use the SUMIFS function in order to aggregate all the sales data for each and every month. And then we are going to combine it with the XLOOKUP. Let's go direct to Excel and try to remember the example together. We have three tables. On the left hand side, we have the transaction table. It contains 5 columns. First column indicating the name of the customer. We have 4 customers, 1 to 4, customer 1 to customer 4. And then we have the product in the second column. We have only 2 products, product 1 and product 2. And also we have the date of the transaction. If we check the range of dates, we have transactions in 3 months, all in 2023, Jan, Feb and March. Also we have a column combining the year and the date together. And finally, we have the quantity in each and every transaction. The second table is basically the price list. You can see the 2 products that I have. Also, I have a column for the date and the price. If you check the number of lines in the price list, we have almost 18 lines, meaning that we have 18 different prices. If you divide by 2 number of products, you will find 9 different prices for each and every product. And for 3 months, meaning that we have on average 3 changes in the price each and every month. The price is going up or down, sometimes goes up and sometimes goes down. Finally, we have the discount. Discount is based on the monthly quantity, as you can see in the header of the column. So if the aggregate orders from a single customer for a single product in a single month exceeded 2,000, you will get 5%. Above the 4,000, you get 7.5%, and so on and so forth. Obviously, before calculating a discount, you need to aggregate the sales, the quantity sold during the month. The requirement is to calculate the correct price, or to find the correct price for each and every transaction, and also to find the correct discount for each and every transaction, and finally to calculate the revenue line by line for the transaction table. As I mentioned at the beginning, we already did the same job using Power Query, and you can see that we have the output already. So at the end of the video, we're going to compare the outcome coming from Excel sheet functions with the output coming from Power Query. And if both agrees, this will give us confidence on both solutions. I already added 3 columns in order to do our calculations. I have a column for the price, column for discount, and finally 1 column to calculate the revenue. So let's start by just try to fetch the discount. As I told you at the beginning, I'm going to use the filter function in order to look up the correct price. Let's try together. I'm going to type equal and then filter. Let's follow the screen assistance. First requirement is an array. Array can be the entire price list, as I want to filter down the price list. However, I'm going to take only 1 column from this table, which is basically the price column. So in order to select the entire column, I'm going to hover over the header of the column. You will see this black arrow pointing down. 1 click, it will select the entire column, and you will see here price, which is the name of the table, and between 2 square brackets, the name of the column, which is also price. Then the second requirement, I'm going to add comma. Second requirement is include. Include is basically the condition that you're going to use in order to filter the table. And actually, in our case, we have 2 conditions. First one is related to the product, and the second one is related to the date. The product that I have in this price list need to be exactly the same like the product that we have here. We're here in the transaction table, so I need to find in this line all the prices related to the product 2 from the table price list. And also I need to look at the date. Here is my date, 1st of January 2023. I need to take only dates equals to or before that date. In order to add two conditions inside the same function, in the same filter function, I need to put each and every one inside one pair of brackets. So in order to do so, I'm going to add the first bracket, and then I'm going to select the column product. This is my first condition, column product. Again, I'm going to select the entire column, and I need this column to be exactly equal what? Equal to the product that I have in each and every transaction. So I'm going to select the product from the transaction table and then close the bracket for the first condition. Now I need to add the second condition. Second condition will be based on date. But before doing so, I need to decide. I need to do the combination of these two conditions using the or using the and. If I'm going to using or, I need to put a plus sign. So I need to combine both by just doing an addition to add a plus sign in order to add the two conditions. If I'm going to use the and combination, I need to use the multiplication operator or the asterisk in this case. And in our case, we need to do the multiplication because we are going to use and. Why and? Because in our case, we need both conditions to be met. I need both conditions to be true in order to get the correct price. So let me add another pair of brackets. Inside the second bracket, I'm going to add the column date. This date needs to be less than or equal to the date that I have in each and every transaction. So I'm going to select the date and then close the bracket for the second condition, and finally close the bracket for the filter function. And I'm going to hit enter, and here you go, I get a single price, which is basically 22. Let's have a look on what we have here. I have product 2. First condition will filter down the table to only product 2, so it will select this one and also this one, and so on and so forth. And the second condition will look into the date. I have the date 1st of January 2023, so the only price matching this condition will be only the 1st of January 2023, which is basically the 22 that we have here. So more or less working exactly like what we want. In order to test what we did, let's try to change the date. Assume that this transaction happened by end of January, not 1st of January. So this will be 31st, and then I'm going to hit enter. What will happen? I will get three prices, as you can see here. I get 22, 20, and 25. If you check the price list, I have the 22, the 20, and the 25. The three dates before 31st of January, I have one in 1st of January, one in the 15th, and one in the 22nd, and both are meeting the criteria of product 2, so it is working good. However, this is not exactly what I want. I need the most recent price compared to the date that I have here, which is basically 31st January. So I need to do another change in my formula. I need to add another function, and this function will be CHOOSEROWS function, and this will help me to grab only the last record or the last row from this table or from this list, which will be the 25, as you can see here. I'm going to the formula bar this time. Before the filter function, let me just add one line. I'm going to press and hold Alt and then enter. This will give me one line. I'm going up once more. After the equal sign, I'm going to type CHOOSEROWS and then open the bracket for the CHOOSEROWS function. The first requirement is array. The array is basically the outcome of the filter function, which is basically these three numbers. And then I'm going to add a comma for the second requirement. The second requirement asks you to specify the number of the row, meaning that if you have 3 rows, you need the first row, you type 1, you need the second row, you type 2, you need the third row, you type 3, and so on and so forth. In our case, I need the last one, the last row, and the last row will not be always number 3. Sometimes it will be number 2, and sometimes will be number 1, and so on and so forth. So in order to tell this function, please take the last row, the last item of the list, I need to type -1. The minus will reverse the order, and 1 is basically the first row for the reversed order. And then close the bracket for CHOOSEROWS and hit enter, and here you go, you get the 25. Let's go back and fix the date. We're going to change it back to 1st of January 2023. The price is 22. I think all good. I can just copy this down till the end. The next step is try to get the correct discount, and by end of the video, we are going to check this solution against the solution that we have from the Power Query. Before calculating the discount, I need at the beginning to aggregate the quantity for each and every month, for each and every product, and for each and every customer. Meaning that I need to do an aggregation using 3 criteria. First one will be the customer, second will be the product, and third will be the month year. The best function that can help me will be the SUMIFS. So I'm going to the first line in my table, equal, and then SUMIFS. First requirement will be the sum range. Sum range will be exactly the column of the quantity. So I'm going to the transaction table, hover over the quantity column and one click in order to select the entire column, and then comma, criteria range number 1, this will be in the customer column, and then comma, criteria number 1 will be the customer of the first transaction. I'm going to select, and then comma, criteria range number 2 will be the product. I'm going to select, and then comma, criteria number 2 will be the product of the first transaction, and then comma, criteria range number 3 will be the month year, and then the criteria range 4 will be the month year for the first transaction of my table. Close the bracket and hit enter, and here we go. We have the total amount of the customer number 1, orders for product number 2 during the month of Jan 23. Please put in your mind that this amount will be repeated each time I find this combination. What is the combination? Customer 1, product 2, and month Jan 23. So if you look like here, customer 1, product 2, Jan 23. Let me quickly copy this formula and see what will happen. It will be exactly the same, but actually this is no problem at all. We just need this value in order to bring the discount for each and every transaction. So the next step is using this value in order to grab the discount from the discount table that we have on the right hand side. So before calculating the discount, I'm going to just memorize the 5973. So I'm going to type it, just let me put it like here, 5973. Why? Because we are going to check our work at the end. So let's start now. I'm going to edit inside the same formula. So I'm going to the formula bar, just after the equal sign, Alt Enter in order to take another line. And I'm going back on top and try to use the XLOOKUP function. I'm going to type XLOOKUP and open a bracket. Let's follow the screen tip or the screen assistance. First requirement is the lookup value, which is basically the 5973. This is the output of the SUMIFS function that we just calculated. At the end, I'm going to add a comma. The second requirement will be the lookup array. Naturally, the lookup array will be inside the volume discount, and I need to look up the monthly quantity column. So I'm going to select. Let me just add another line here, Alt and Enter. Here you go, discount, the name of the table, and then monthly quantity, the name of the column, and then comma. The next requirement is the return array from the same table. This time will be the discount column. Here you go, discount, discount, and then comma. The fourth argument is value if not found. In our case, we need it to be 0. So think about a case that you have a quantity less than 2000. There will be no discount, and this will return an error. And instead of having the error, you just put the 0 and you all good. This is much better than adding another formula like if error or if NA. And then comma, the final and the most important is the match mode argument. You have 4 options. First one is the exact match. We don't want the exact match. We need 1 or -1. 1 is exact match or next larger item, meaning that let's take the 5973. 5973 is between the 4000 and 6000. In this case, if this happens and we select the next larger amount, this will give discount of 10%. However, what we want is between 4000 and 6000, you need the 7.5% discount. Why? Because you didn't reach the 6000 yet. So the correct choice is to add here -1 for the exact match or next smaller. So if the match is exact, it will go for exact first. If no exact match, it will go for the next smaller item, and then close the bracket and hit enter. Let me change the number format. Percentage with 1 decimal place. You have here the 7.5. Think about the 5973. It is between the 4,000, 6,000, so the correct choice is 7.5. So our calculation is looking good. Let me just send this formula down till the end, double click, and we are ready for the next calculation, which is basically the calculation of revenue. Let's calculate the revenue. Equals quantity times price times, open a bracket, 1 minus the discount, and then close the bracket and hit enter. And here you go, I have the revenue. I can just use round before this formula. So I'm going again on the formula bar, I'm going to use round because this is much better for the currency. And instead of having more than 2 decimal places, so you just need the round function. So round and then comma at the end, 2 for 2 decimal places, close the bracket and hit enter, double click to send the formula down. And now we need to check against the work that we did using Power Query. Let me go down. I have already the total 1841215.93. I have also the total here 1841215.76. I have a difference of 0.17, so it is very trivial and all is coming because of the rounding. If you try to get one by one, you can just discover that it is very small on the transaction level. So let me just take this versus this and see what will happen. You need to make sure that you have the correct order. You need to sort both tables identically, otherwise the result of this comparison will not be working. Let me add a quick filter here, and let's filter on things with the values. I have only 1 piastre difference. If you just select, you have few items or few transactions with only 1 piastre or 0.01 difference for each and every line. The accumulation of 0.17, I think it's very trivial, and this will give us confidence that both solutions were working perfectly. We managed to solve the same issue using 2 methods. The first one was Power Query and the second one using the worksheet formula. Please share with me your opinion, which is better for you, and also in general how you decide that you go for Power Query and what other cases or what other circumstances pushing you toward the worksheet formula. Share your opinion with me, and that was all for today. If you like the video, please like it, subscribe, leave a comment and share the video, and we'll catch you in the next video. Thank you very much for your time, and bye.